Okay, and we're live. What's up, guys?
What's going on, GGEN?
GG to everybody in the chat. GG to my boys here. We're going to keep an eye out for One Shot. He's going to be jumping in about 20 minutes also. This is a big episode. It's a big episode. Oh, the captain's going to be jumping in too soon. So, be prepared, those in the chat. We're going to have to resize the cameras at some point.
It's going to be a jumbled mess.
We got our
It's going to be a train wreck.
What's up,
Train
fellas?
wreck as always.
This is episode 40. I'm actually surprised they even made it this far, but we're going to go fully deep into Doctor Strange 2. But before we do, we'll give Steve and John a little bit of time to jump in. I figured there's a few other things that we haven't talked about yet. We can kind of jump into those. First thing, before we get into Moon Knight, because that's going to be a whole other rant and conversation, did you guys hear that Christopher Walken is going to be playing a major role in Dune 2? I thought he retired from acting, so I'm excited now for Dune 2. Or I guess it's Dune Part 2. They just announced today that Walken's going to be in it.
Christopher Walken's one of my favorites, so I'm all for it.
It's Dune.
I'm all for it.
Dune Remake Part 2. That's what they should call it. They should just name it that. So
the second half of the Dune remake.
Yeah. Another just kind of announcement that came out today, and I know Scythe, you shared it on the Facebook group, and someone else beat you to it. The Resident Evil TV show. Wait, Larry Luck says, didn't he die in Dune 1? Christopher Walken wasn't even in Dune 1. Or Dune, the Part 1. His character, I guess, gets introduced. He's one of the Fremen or Freemen or whatever. So he'll be bringing the cowbells, Buttersworth. Resident Evil, the TV show, coming out June 14th. Oh, I don't even know why I'm talking about it, because the trailer just looks so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm not. That didn't sell it for me, that trailer.
I sent, literally out of anger, I sent to a few friends of mine a 9-episode story arc of what they should do. And I thought to myself, I did this in 5 minutes. These studios are hiring writers, and they take a year and a half to come up with something. And that's what they come up with. Double storyline, futuristic Raccoon City in 2032 with an Albert Wesker that's a virologist, not working for Stars or undercover for some other corporation. Like, it's just so ridiculous. I can't understand. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to just adapt the very first game to a TV show or a movie? I mean, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's about, let's say, a 10 to 12 hour game. You can easily break it down into a 6 to 9 part series. Do it justice. Introduce all the characters we love. Not skimp out on the things we want to see. I'm a Resident Evil diehard. I've been playing since I remember the excitement. I pre-ordered Resident Evil 1. I had a strategy guide. I remember the cover of the game, playing in the basement with friends. Like, they just can't. How many movies are we in now? And the closest we got to a good Resident Evil movie is Welcome to Raccoon City, and that was garbage.
I haven't even seen that yet.
It really
I haven't
is.
even watched it yet.
It's sad. It's sad when that's the best Resident Evil movie we've ever gotten.
I was out well before this, but when they brought zombie crows in, I was like, all right, we gotta stop. We just gotta stop. Like,
it's like, I feel like I saw somebody online said it. Buttersworth just said, I did enjoy Welcome to Raccoon City. I enjoyed it mainly because it's the closest thing we've gotten to a legit Resident Evil adaptation for the screen. They introduced most of the characters we like. They kept the mansion. They kept the police station. I didn't hate it, but mainly because I just am grasping at the low-hanging fruit to try and get something I like. I feel like... Sorry, go ahead.
It's just, you hit the nail on the head. Like, they could just easily adapt the first... Even if you took Resident Evil 2, right? Which is like the premier Resident Evil game, right? Like, that's the one that really got everybody going. So you take that storyline, and you just adapt it for the screen. The story was good. The story was good in the video game. Just adapt it to the screen.
It's honestly
but as
not
we
hard.
tell, for some reason, the people that run these shows are afraid to just adapt the story from a video game to the screen, as we have been able to tell with Halo.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing we got to get into that I don't even want to. I'm not even sure I want to go down that. I'm trying not to curse that much, Larry, but that rabbit hole of a stinker, I just can't. I've also, for the record, let's just jump to Halo. Let's do it because Resident Evil just gets me frustrated. For the record,
it felt like a good segue.
It was an excellent segue. I skipped the last episode of Halo mainly because I saw one thing. That it was the title. I forget what it said on the article, but under it in the subtitle it said Halo goes the show decides Master Chief is not needed for a whole episode. I said forget it. I'm not watching a whole episode with Quan Ha or whatever her freaking name is. Unbelievable.
Quan story. Baby.
It's so ridiculous. So you guys listen. I
didn't watch it. No one ever wanted.
Fred, Scythe, did you watch it?
I did. And
go ahead. Let us know.
Ironically, I didn't hate the episode.
Oh, that's a little embarrassing.
So much right now.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, I enjoyed the friction that came about, like when they were defending Madrigal, and it was just the two of them up against like that whatever force you want to call them.
Okay.
That part was enjoyable, but like for the most part, I didn't really give a shit what was happening.
That's the thing, though, right? Like, yeah, as like an episode, it was enjoyable to like see them like up against the whatever group that is. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's just like we don't give a shit.
Yeah,
no one wants to see these characters
on
the screen. You've barely given us Master Chief as it is,
right?
Because all we've had is Pablo Schreiber. We haven't had Master Chief,
right?
We've had John. John.
But this is the problem: is like I'm okay with introducing new characters specifically for a show or a movie when they're in relation to the main characters that we want to see. If Quan Ha was going to be his like little sidekick, fine, introduce her, get us to like her, whatever. But the fact that they so quickly deviated or separated the two. And they've
made a completely different story.
And they've continued to focus on that story. They have plenty going on with the UNSC, with the other Spartans. Mm-hmm. I'm way more interested in. I can't even remember the character's name now, but the other Spartan that took her emotional chip out. I'm way more interested in that. Kai, that's what it is. Than
Commander, I am. What is it? Lieutenant Keyes or Commander Keyes.
I'm way more interested in her storyline. That's awesome, an interesting storyline. It's a cool character, and so I don't know the games that well, but I'm pretty sure she was created for the show. She's not in the games at all. So like, I think Keyes
is in the game.
Is it her or is it like her father or something?
Yeah, I think it's her father.
Her father.
Yeah.
Either way, like I'm all for like those. There's so many storylines on that end of the spectrum. Even Maquis, I think her name is, from the Covenant group, the human with the Covenants or whatever. I'm interested in that. I want to know more about her and what her role is.
Like
all these things.
Why is she connected to Master Chief? Like,
right.
There's so much that they can focus on. And
so much.
This Quan Ha is just taking up way too much episode space.
And they really thought that we would be interested in an entire show focused on Quan Ha. I don't understand. No. But Buttersworth says, I'm so glad I haven't watched a single Halo episode. I knew they were going to kill that series. And to be honest, we were just talking to the captain, and he told us the same thing. He said he's heard what we had to say. He's kind of seen things on the internet. He's glad he hasn't watched it either. I'm going to finish it because at this point, it's like I put so much time into it. I got to finish it.
It's already green lit for season 2. It's crushing it. It's crushing it on Paramount Plus, apparently.
And
I don't think it is, though.
I don't get why. I just don't get why.
Because the streaming networks, like, this is my biggest problem with like the streaming networks, right? Never hear any show does bad on any of these streaming networks.
No, you don't.
They all crush it.
You don't. That's absolutely
Every
correct.
show crushes it because the way they dictate whether or not like
Downloads.
the show is doing well is stream views.
Right.
And so a percentage of their actual streamers watching the show, right? But for any streaming service, like the real number that really matters, because those streamers are already paying for your service,
right?
So the real number that only matters is new people signing up for your stream. Like the biggest thing that happened with Netflix was them getting the Daredevil and Punisher properties and all those properties, right?
Yeah, think about
Daredevil season 1 brought them in like hundreds of thousands of new subscribers.
Right. And once someone subscribes, all you need, like, who's gonna really leave? Nobody leaves once you start subscribing. You just start finding other things to watch.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why, like, when people are like, "Oh, it's not doing well," or "It's doing well," or "It's this doing well," like, how are you even gaining this metric? Like, this metric is it's fugazi.
I also read that that bringing new subscribers in is a big way that these streaming services decide if a show did well or not. And a show like Halo, as bad as it is, most likely brought a lot of new people to Paramount Plus. And whether they're watching it or not, they may have given up and they're just on something else, but they still came when the show released. So they could be
because they signed up because they're like, "Oh, Paramount's going to have Halo. I want to watch the Halo show."
Right.
And
I would have done it.
That doesn't mean it's doing well.
I would have done exactly if I didn't have Paramount already and I saw the trailer for Halo and the trailers looked excellent. So I would have 100% signed up for Paramount just to watch Halo. I would have at this point stopped.
And the battle scenes they do so well.
They do great.
Do it so well.
Even like the silliness.
Really good.
Even like the silliness of the animation feels good. You know what I mean? But
both of them out of the 9 episodes that we've gotten so far were really good.
I would rather them cut down 9 episodes to like 6 episodes. Take the budget from those last few and put more action.
Oh, an episode came out today, didn't it?
It did come out today, and I'm gonna watch it. But I'm at a point now where I'm just not interested anymore. And I already spoiled one thing for me that I won't say because in case anyone wants to watch it. But I read it and was like, oh yeah, come on, man. So, like, you know, I'm really not that excited about this new episode either. At this point, I'm just waiting for the finale. Episode. No, it's this particular thing I read has to do with Master Chief, and that's really all I'll say about it. I don't want to.
I guess he takes his helmet off again.
He takes more than his helmet off. I'm pretty sure we see some Master Chief ass again.
Oh God.
Buttersworth says Mayans is better than Halo. Prove me wrong. You know what? I haven't even watched Mayans, and I would already tell you, Gary. I know it's better.
Mayans is fantastic.
I don't watch Mayans.
And then he also.
I have a thing about watching spin-off shows. Like I don't really get into them.
Well, generally they're not that great. But Better Call Saul is great. I've heard Mayans is very, very good. So, you know,
but the thing about these are 2 very good examples of Better Call Saul and Mayans are both from shows that, in my opinion, 2 of the best endings in television history. So once those shows ended, I was good.
I agree.
I was completely like satisfied with the series as a whole. I don't need any more, and I feel like once you start throwing like money truck up and trying to get more money out of people and different shows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm just not interested in it. Like even Better Call Saul, I watched the first episode and I was like, I need to watch this.
I love Better Call Saul.
It's not as good as Breaking Bad. It just wants to be.
I thought the same with Mayans. I was like, I'll check it out, but there's no way this is on par to what I just watched 8 seasons or 9 seasons of with Sons of Anarchy. And it surprised me, man. It would surprise you. I guarantee it.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I don't like have the bandwidth to like go jump back into that world now because it's over. It's over for me.
I hear you.
So let's see what else.
Real quick with Halo, did you notice they finally showed a sticky bomb and it looked like a blue dodgeball?
Yeah,
yeah. Please.
Yeah. It's just not. And again, it's frustrating and it's hard not to. When they announce a show like Halo and they show you the trailers and it really does look like it's going to be a good show, it's hard not to let the hype kind of overtake you a little bit, especially as just gamers. The entire
trailer was from episode 1.
That's what it was, and you know, they got us. You know what I mean? Because I was super hyped, and even episode 1, I enjoyed episode 1 a lot. So even after that, I really was like, yo, this is going to be it. Finally, the video game property, the video game show that's going to do video games justice on the screen. And it just almost immediately took a nosedive with one high point since and then right back down again. So at this point, I know that the finale is going to be good because the finale is going to be all action, some big Covenant and UNSC battle. Like
unlike
or John 117 holding the Sorrow one, whatever her name is, and the Chosen one in his arms for an hour.
Yeah, I think her name is.
They're standing ass to ass.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm just gonna spoil it. Even if you guys didn't watch it, I read that they bang in this new episode. So I can't. I had to get it out. Apparently, they have a love scene, and Cortana gets jealous. I don't know what the other, if there's anything else that goes with it.
What are we doing?
But like,
what are we doing?
I read, so I went to read a review, a spoiler-free review, and even in the review, it said I need to spoil this because it's just that frustrating, and that was the scene. So take that wherever you want to take it. That's what you got to expect at some point.
So Cortana was creepily watching them and getting jealous.
I don't know, man. She was hologrammed into John Spartan's head or whatever. Watching it, and she's just upset. Why can't he do me? I have no idea. I was hoping.
Or is it Halsey watching through Cortana?
She might. Listen, she's creepy as shit too in the show, so I'm sure she has something to do with it.
Creepy.
I was hoping that one of you guys would tell me that, Cortana being jealous of some romance for Spartan or for Master Chief is from the games, but judging from your reactions, doesn't sound like it.
I never played stories.
Romances in the games, because you know why? He's a mindless killing machine.
Because he keeps his helmet on the whole time.
He never takes his helmet off. He can't kiss anybody if his helmet's on.
Have you seen? I think someone shared it in the Facebook group too. The GGEN Facebook group. It's going around where someone's like, you can't ask an actor to not remove their helmet. It's required for acting. And then it shows a picture of Karl Urban as Dredd. And really, there needs to be a new one with him and Pedro Pascal. Clearly, two people who understand
100%.
that the character and the fan and what the fans want is more important than what they want with their nonsense.
Exactly. Pedro Pascal and Karl Urban, of all people, able to pull it off and be convincing and be fucking good at it.
And
too.
Be convincing is the key right there. They're able to
do it and be good
at
it. Like those movies, like the Judge Dredd, the Dredd movie, not Judge Dredd, but Dredd, by Karl Urban, and everything we've gotten from The Mandalorian have been freaking fantastic.
Unbelievable. It's a shame that the Dredd movie does not have a sequel or a show or something. That movie was so good, and it's really sad that's like that. And I feel like the problem there, though, is that the Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone, he needed to take his helmet off. He turned off so many fans of the character because of his.
But that's the problem right now. It's like we're dealing with like these producers who are used to producing stuff in like the late '90s, early 2000s, and they're like, "No, he's got to take his helmet off. Yeah. Otherwise, no one's gonna know who he is. Like, it makes no sense. Fans don't want him to have the helmet on the whole time."
Right.
Some like 23-year-old kid, like intern, was in there being like, "But sir, The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Wow, that's Disney. It's different. This is Paramount. Make Paramount movies here."
Buttersworth confirms that the Cortana Maquis Master Chief love triangle does not happen in the game. So,
oh really?
It's confirmed now. It does not happen, which I think we all guessed that anyway. I really like your impression, Zuplex, of a 23-year-old kid. Of a Hollywood exec not knowing what they're doing. I feel like there was a time where people went to see the movie based off of the actor that was in the movie, and they, so that's one of the reasons why they want them to show their face. It's like that's what brings people to the seats.
Yeah, of course.
But where Marvel has converted, this is one thing that I feel like Hollywood has not caught up with yet. Marvel has shown the world essentially that fans of the character and the properties that they came from will flock to the theaters if you take the character seriously. And there's a reason why all these Marvel movies, almost, let's say 95% of the Marvel stuff that they've done is almost always a home run. No one has a lot of complaints because they're changing little things, but they keep the core of the character intact in almost every case. Not every case, but almost every case.
I mean, listen, we're far from the days of being like, well, that's a Schwarzenegger movie. You got to go see it.
Exactly.
Like, no one cares what the movie was.
Exactly.
That Schwarzenegger was in it. That's a Stallone movie. You got to go see it. Excuse me. Oh man,
no, 100%.
That's a Tom Cruise movie. You got to go see it.
Right now, that's a Captain America movie, or Doctor Strange is in that one, or Batman is in that one. Even though the DCEU doesn't even understand that fans of the characters want to see those characters on screen, not the actor playing the character. We want the character on screen. We want to see what they have to do. We don't want Superman to be a whiny bitch. We want him to be a beacon of hope. Like that's what we want to see. But I don't want to go down the DC rabbit hole because I'm going to lose my marble over here. So one of the other things before we switch over to Moon Knight, which is what we want to start with, is the Avatar 2 trailer came out. I know there's been some reactions to it. I know we've shared it online before. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I thought the first one was very overrated. It looked pretty at the time, but there was nothing that special about it. I never ever understood why it was the best selling or highest grossing movie of all time. There was nothing about it that to me like stood out. I don't get it.
It was 3D. It was the 3D.
Even the 3D wasn't as impressive to me at the time as I think they wanted it to be.
I mean, it was pretty impressive if you went to the full IMAX
I didn't do that.
3D experience. You know what I'm saying? Like I did when it came out. And like it was impressive what they did as far as technology wise with like how they put that movie together. But the story itself is like, I mean, we've seen that story 3 different times already.
Yeah.
It's Pocahontas, it's Ferngully, like it's live action Ferngully, basically.
I feel like I will say that I feel like this movie, based off this trailer in particular, the visuals do look fantastic. I mean, just on the trailer, everything looks.
Yeah, I mean, they look fantastic in the first one. That doesn't mean it's going to be a good movie. Like all that first one was visuals,
and that's my biggest concern is that this one looks like it's somehow
was like
outdoing the original
Aquaman Atlantis, but on the ground.
Yeah,
everything was just colorful and blue.
So speaking of Aquaman, because there's not much more to say about Avatar, it was only a teaser trailer. Have you guys been keeping up with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial going on?
No, I kind of phased out. Like
I was at the beginning, and now I just can't. Like I just can't take it seriously.
Wait, hold on. Larry Luck says every time I've tried to watch Avatar, I never make it to the end without falling asleep, including in the movie theater. And I don't blame you because that's one of my biggest complaints. It's a super long movie. It did not need to be that long.
No reason.
And Giovanni Ribisi is not a great bad guy. I don't know. Who decided to make him the end all.
Yeah, but he wasn't the bad guy. Wasn't Stephen Long?
Well, Stephen Long was like his henchman, who was like the muscle, and Giovanni Ribisi was like the brains behind it.
I look at him as more the bad guy.
He was good. Stephen Long was good as the bad guy.
He was good. I mean, listen, man. The movie's not a bad movie. It's just a movie that like is well overhyped for what it really is. Like when you really break that movie down and watch it. Just like, okay.
My one question, though, is in Avatar 2, before we switch over to the other thing I was going to say. In Avatar 2, is it looks like the main character, Jake Sully or whatever his name is, and I don't remember her name, it's always Haldana's alien chick. They have a kid, and the kid's human. That's what it seems like in the trailer, which makes no sense to me, because at the end of the first one,
wasn't Jake Sully?
Wasn't he fully blown Na'vi at that point? Didn't at the end of the first movie they did the whole like dance in front of the tree and they transferred his soul or whatever?
You know what always bothered me about these Avatar movies?
That they don't matter and they're garbage?
I don't know. And I don't know if you ever noticed this when watching it, but to ride the dragons and the animals, to plug their little tentacle thing in too. That's also how they have sex with each other.
Right, so they're banging every animal.
Does that mean that they're having sex with the animals while they're riding them?
I think so. I think that's pretty obvious.
For years, this has bothered me.
I'm pretty sure, and they're going to do that to the underwater animals. So you're talking about just banging everything.
Now they're going to plug into them too.
Even the tree. Remember when they're in that one? I don't know what they called it. He's banging the tree in order to kind of be one with Iwa or whatever his name was. So you're just going to town. Basically, living like a Na'vi means you're just going to town with everything and everyone around you.
Apparently,
that's what it sounds like. But anyway, let's go on to our first part of the main event, Moon Knight. So I'm assuming you guys have watched and caught up with the finale.
Yep.
Larry Luck said Wade Poole driving this train off the rails. Hey, listen, when you don't have a lot of good things to say, this is what happens. You know what I mean? If anyone's following GGEN on TikTok, you'll notice that Steve and I are constantly talking about whether or not in Moon Knight, if it's a threesome, whenever Layla, Steve, and Mark, get together. I don't want to say because there's kids around.
I mean, this finale proved, it's a foursome.
Well, that's what we know now. That's what we know now.
Forget about Jake.
so real quick, what did you guys think about the finale?
Liked it.
Okay.
So, I feel like we've been saying this all along that they had a pacing problem. I feel like this finale wasn't big enough.
It's besides the giant kaiju battle. It really wasn't.
Which we got a second of. Like
they definitely could have used one more episode, at the minimum, one more episode. I don't know where they would have put in
really good series for the rise of the Scarlet Scarab.
They needed 2 episodes.
But so I do now. Let me ask you a question, Scythe. I know one thing that frustrated the crap out of you was in the finale when they blacked out, and then suddenly everyone was dead. I literally I'm on camera, so the proof is out there. I'm into it. You know, Mark's about to get killed. He's looking around, and then he blacks out, and suddenly everyone's basically bloody and beaten. And I was like, oh my god, they cut away. I just can't. Like, I get the cutaways in the beginning. I didn't hate them. I understand what they were doing. I understand they were trying to build up to this like 2-personality thing, whatever. Fine.
Yeah.
But in the finale,
Can't cut away in the finale, man. That's such bullshit. Like,
they could
we
have
barely had Moon Knight the whole season, and they still cut away when he did the most badass shit in the finale. We still wasn't allowed to see it.
What's annoying is
that was so frustrating.
It was very frustrating, and what bothers me is that you didn't have to confirm that it was Jake Lockley. You know what I mean? Like, you could have, had him like kind of look back at Layla and kind of like turn and suddenly just turn it.
Confirmation. Mm-hmm. Hoping that confirmation means that when the character does come back, we don't have any more blackouts.
I would have hoped so.
I hope so too.
We see Jake Lockley. We know that Jake Lockley's the one doing that stuff. Khonshu confirmed it for us.
Yeah,
I did like the Jake Lockley aspect of it, of the teaser at the end there.
Yeah, I mean, he looked great. The little scene we saw, it looked amazing. Like, it was
perfect. Cool. It would have been better if it was just a black screen, because it would have made more sense of what they've been doing.
I liked it. I liked it because it kind of led into a bigger question of, did Khonshu pick him for Jake Lockley?
I
think
he
pick him for the multiple personalities.
So my interpretation is that the deal was Jake Lockley is Moon Knight, is his fist, but as a way of kind of hiding that character, like almost like an alter ego kind of thing, just protecting him. Mark and Steven are not supposed to know about him, and I think so you hear Khonshu say to them after they make their deal with him about being released, and he very specifically says, "I will release you two when this is over." Like, so he 100% was always aware, and I think for him, it was always about keeping Jake. I don't think anything else matters so much, That's obviously not gonna last that long, because every time they black out,
well, he actually wanted Layla.
Yeah,
and he asked her in that episode. Was it that episode?
Yeah, it was a finale.
No, but he says at the end that like he never wanted Layla.
Yeah, he made a comment that like, and they think I wanted
Layla.
He
never needed her.
Right.
Because he never needed her, because he's got Jake.
Larry Luck says
that was just a way to keep Mark. That was just a way to keep Mark in check, basically.
Yeah.
Larry Luck says got a little confusing, but the after credit scene saved it. But the blackout sure pissed us off. So what I was gonna say before is like they could have had Mark or Steven or whoever kind of look at Layla, see she's about to get killed, and then suddenly turn it on Ethan Hawke's character. We could have seen him just go to town on everybody, and then just have him kick right back into the Mark thing and have Mark pretend like excuse me, like what was that?
Yeah.
You don't have to fully confirm to us it was Jake. And what bothers me, what bothers me though is that 2 seconds later in the after credit scene, you confirm that Jake was part of it. So why black out and keep it a secret if you're just going to tell us 2 minutes later?
How about this? He blacks out and we see from Layla's point of view what the fuck Jake is doing.
That's the other thing. If you want to save budget a little bit, then cut to like Layla, look at her face or whatever. Maybe have a blurry behind, like far away kind of image.
You can have her in the air, and it's just an aerial view of Jake beating the crap out of people.
Right.
And all of a sudden it comes back to him. You know what I mean?
Right. And maybe she's flying over to him or something. She sees him going nuts. She lands and she's like, "What the hell is that?" And it's Mark going, "I don't know, Steven, was that you?" And Steven's like, "No, that wasn't me." And that's it. You know what I mean? There's definitely a better way to do it. The way they did it really, for me, almost ruined the entire finale. It was very, very 100%. Frustrating. Very frustrating.
I enjoyed the first 30 minutes. 25-30 minutes of that whole finale, and then that blackout completely pulled me out and just reminded me of my issues with the series.
I mean, the rest of the ending I thought was pretty good. Like the fight scene we did get where Steve and Mark are kind of switching back and forth,
that was dope.
Cute, good as shit. The big Khonshu battle, like I wasn't expecting to have a kaiju sized battle in the middle of Egypt, so that was kind of cool. You know what I mean? the whole lead up to it. You know, one thing I did say was that they really did a good job of Oscar Isaac in particular did a phenomenal job of making Mark and Steven feel like two different characters.
Yeah,
that were just working together. Like that.
The acting in the whole show was fantastic. Everyone was great.
Of all of like the MCU stuff that we've gotten, this is probably one of the toughest roles to play.
Yes,
they're playing essentially 3 roles. I think he did the best job out of like anybody else in the MCU right now. This is one of the most well acted MCU shows, MCU pieces of property.
Absolutely.
I think we've ever gotten.
Hey,
and I think that's a good.
All right, let me get these cameras.
I think that's a good thing going forward. You know, into the larger aspects of the MCU. You know, I think that's something. It's a positive to take from the show. Overall, I think we're all in agreement that it was. It was pretty strong. It was too short. They needed at least one more episode.
Yeah.
And like what we got wasn't what we were expecting, which seems to be a theme for everything in Marvel right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this was a fantastic Layla Scarlet Scarab or whatever her name is origin story. It was great.
It was really her story.
What we got from Moon Knight was just...
Isn't that a little annoying, though?
Moon Knight was the side character in his own season.
Isn't that a little annoying, though, that Moon Knight is a brand new character, so we don't... Like, it's one thing to introduce, say, like, Kate Bishop.
I mean, that's why they did episode 5, though.
Yeah.
Episode 5 pretty much gave us his entire, like, Uncle Ben dying.
It just... You know what pisses me off about that whole thing, and we can move on if you want. Having Steven die in the sand world or whatever, I thought was so strange, because when the hippo is talking about, you know, your heart's not balanced, you need to balance your heart and, you know, the scale and whatever. Why didn't that mean they had to go find Jake, who was fighting to get out of the sarcophagus in the insane asylum?
They never paid that off.
That is one of the questions, though.
Okay, now we have all 3 personalities. Yes, we are balanced. We are whole. Like, now we can come back and kick ass. Like, it was just strange how they did all that. And then black out, and we didn't even get to see Jake at all.
That is one of the questions.
There was no payoff to it.
Yeah, Larry Luck says episode 5 was an absolute acting masterpiece, which is 100% true. That was such a great episode. And Buttersworth says Moon Knight could have definitely used one more episode. I agree. 1 or 2 more episodes. I
would say 2 for me.
Now, having said all this, though, in my opinion, and I've told Steve this before, I would probably put Hawkeye as probably my favorite overall Marvel show on Disney Plus. Followed by Moon Knight and then Loki. But they're all very close. I like all 3 shows.
I would go Hawkeye, Loki, Moon, maybe.
So after watching Doctor Strange and getting ready for this podcast, I went back and rewatched, like, over the past few days. Rewatched pretty much everything for Phase 4.
Okay.
Right? Minus Black Widow, because
Black Widow's a Phase 1 movie. Who cares?
Phase 1 movie, yeah. So, and like, especially the Disney Plus shows, I gotta say, man, like, Captain America: Winter Soldier, a lot better than I think we remember it to be. And I think if you go back and watch it, you're gonna be in agreement with me on that.
I like this show personally.
Winter Soldier is one of my top 3 Marvel shows. Marvel, like, MCU movies.
Yeah,
I love.
For me, that would be my number 1 right now, followed by Hawkeye and then Moon Knight. Loki's up there. I rewatched Loki trying to see if there was any type of, like, clue.
Yeah.
We could tie in here. Yeah, I mean, so far, like, the Marvel, I know there's a lot of, like, hate going on around right now, calling it the MCU and all this other stuff. And
people got to relax, though.
No, but people gotta chill on that. Like,
people get mad at the weirdest things. Like, Eternals had a gay couple. It was 5 to 7 minutes of screen time, if that, and people were acting like the entire movie was focused on it.
It totally didn't matter. Everybody's got to chill out on this stuff and just be happy for what we're getting, and like I know they were talking about like even with Moon Knight that because it was the Layla story, like that just proves that it's the MCU. I'm like, guys, like.
Meanwhile, every property has had multiple people.
We lost Steve again.
We lost Steve. Let me hide.
The thing is, I love Layla. I think she's a fantastic character. I think she's a great character to bring in, and she's super strong. Like the actress that's playing her is really good. Like
for me so far is the best female character to come into this phase.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
That's new.
I don't disagree with that. Although Kate Bishop again is I think a really done really well.
Actually, I really like Yelena.
See, I feel like that's the one thing that they've done so well. They've introduced a lot of new characters that I believe could easily take over or become the new faces of the franchise going forward. And I believe 100% that could happen.
I feel the opposite.
Well, we just named Kate Bishop, Yelena, and Layla. Like who else?
They're all great characters, but they're all great secondary characters.
Oh, see, I don't know. I feel like Yelena could definitely carry a movie.
I think can carry.
Kate Bishop could carry a show. We don't know yet if she can carry a movie. I guess.
Movie. The characters that we have in the MCU right now.
But you know what?
There was an Avengers level threat.
Well, yeah.
There was an Avengers level threat. You cannot tell me that the characters that we have that are currently in the MCU right now believe that they would be able to stop an Avengers level threat. And that's the problem we're going to run into.
Yeah, but we're not. They got to build up to it. I mean, they didn't build up the Avengers
right now
for an entire phase. You know what I mean? So
I'm just saying right now, though.
Rampy says, would all the new characters into new form of the Avengers? Would they all form the new Avengers? Well, I don't think so. We've said it before. If to answer that question directly, I feel like Marvel or the MCU as a whole right now is working on building out multiple teams. So I don't think there is going to be a Young Avengers. Clearly, we got Yelena, Kate Bishop, probably maybe Layla. If you watch Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, America Chavez, there's a whole bunch of characters that are going to form the Young Avengers. I know Ant-Man's daughter is probably going to be a part of it too. But I think we're going to have your OG or your older Avengers, the Young Avengers. There's going to be a Fantastic Four, an X-Men, a Spider Group. There's all these characters. Midnight Suns, is clearly coming. And I think the idea is all these characters. Well, that's what Secret Wars. I mean, I know we haven't gotten into Doctor Strange 2 yet, but clearly Secret Wars is coming.
I agree, Rampy.
Rampy says they need to add Jessica Jones. Well, 100%. I think they're going to. I don't know when they're going to, but I think they're going to. Feige has made it clear that we're not going to get another Avengers-style movie for a very long time, that there's nothing on the docket at the moment. The
Avengers-style movie is going to be Secret Wars.
That's what I think, too, but I don't think we're getting that until the end of Phase 6, maybe.
I don't know.
It depends on what they release by then.
They have a lot to
go over.
A lot of people to introduce before we have Secret Wars.
I wonder if Steve lost internet connection again. We might have to just jump into Doctor Strange without him because
let's do it.
Just we've talked about Moon Knight. We all know what that's about, and there's no other really big announcements. So we're just gonna move on. Let me pull up the Doctor Strange 2 image. Let me guys get your thoughts together because we definitely got thoughts, and I'm gonna pull up an image right now so everyone knows what we're talking about. And please, if you're in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. I'll try to yell out and point out all the comments.
I'll be honest, Buttersworth. I didn't like Sylvie that much. Like, I wasn't a big Sylvie fan. I thought it was a cop-out. Like,
it was strange. She was a strange character.
It was just an odd to have.
Wait, was that a Doctor Strange pun? She was a strange character.
No. Strange character. Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose? All right, boys. I got the image up. We're talking Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't watched this movie, then I'm warning you now. We're going to go full spoilers. It's been a week.
Spoilers.
What the hell you been doing anyway? It sucks that the Captain and One Shot aren't in here because for once we've all watched the movie and we all watched it when it came out, so we could really talk about it. But I'm just going to flat out say it. I'll give my opinion first since, it's my show anyway.
My show.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie overall. However, it was a letdown. I think my hype was just way too high for this movie, and I feel like they rushed through the whole movie. There's some cool scenes, but it kind of felt like it could have been a better Disney Plus show than an actual movie. So that's that's kind of how my feeling for the whole thing. But take it away. How about Scythe?
I will say, just to piggyback off you, basically, it was an average. It was an average MCU movie that completely let me down. It wasn't a bad movie, wasn't a great movie. It was an average movie, and the hype for it, to maybe my own fault, but also Marvel's fault, because they hyped this madness. They hyped the madness, and we didn't really get it. And most of it was spoiled in the trailer.
I really feel for you, because you were really hyped about this movie. You kept saying how it's gonna set up the MCU going forward, which it probably did. But before we get into the details, Zuplex, what'd you think?
So this was a really awesome Sam Raimi movie. It wasn't an MCU movie. I'll tell you right now. This was a really awesome Sam Raimi movie. I think I came out of it a little bit. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. But I think one of the differences between me and you guys is I wasn't that hyped up for it. I was worried that they were going to do too much and fuck this whole thing up. Right? I've been saying it for weeks that the problems that I thought they were going to have with Spider-Man No Way Home, I thought were going to be even worse in Doctor Strange. And they wound up scaling a lot of it. They wound up scaling a lot of it back. I think that was the right call, because I think if we got everything that they were saying we were going to get, I think we'd be sitting here going, what the hell did we just watch?
Which is so that
we watched madness. We didn't get it.
But so that's a good point. Scythe, you say that they showed too much in the trailers, and then Zuplex,
they showed everything. They literally showed everything.
Yeah, except for, as far as I can think off the top of my head, they showed everything.
They didn't show Black Bolt.
They didn't show Black Bolt, and they didn't show. And I warned everybody about spoilers. They didn't show Black Bolt or Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, even though everyone kind of figured out that was going to happen anyway.
Saw the silhouette of him, I think.
But this is the problem, though. So Scythe is saying that they ruined everything in the trailer, and Zuplex, you're saying that they pulled back, which is kind of like a double-edged catch-22.
They pulled back from the rumor mill.
Well, of course they did,
back
right?
From the rumor mill.
I agree. If they added everything in there that people
if we
thought
got
were going to be,
Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man, and we got Howard the Duck and Deadpool. I will tell you a really funny story that, when at the second after credit scene, some dude in my theater was just like, "Where the fuck is Deadpool?" He was so angry.
Yeah.
Real quick, Rampy.
All that in.
Well, I'm sorry. Real quick, let me just check the comments real quick. Rampy says everyone's hype was pretty high.
Like Sam Raimi, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Larry Lux says thought it was awesome, different and weird. Thought it was phenomenal that Scarlet Witch was the antagonist and we had no idea. Reed motherfucking Richards. Buttersworth says Scythe looks like Sam Raimi. You do kind of look like him a little bit. And then Rampy said with everything that they had in the ads and all the leaks, the whole movie was already ruined, which is true. All right, go ahead, Zuplex. Keep going.
So I think if they had added all that stuff in, and the rumor mill on this one was nuts. It
really was.
It's already going pretty crazy. So, I mean, if they had added all that stuff in, I think we'd all be sitting here being like, it was just a mess. The whole movie was just a mess. I'm actually a little relieved that they did what they did with it. I wasn't a fan of the way they handled Wanda.
I wasn't either. Thank you. I'm glad someone else said it. I was arguing with one shot about this. I
wasn't
a big fan either.
Bright spot of the movie. Everything else, I was like,
it was great.
But let me clarify. Yeah. To be very clear, to be very, very clear, the acting was phenomenal, especially from Elizabeth Olsen. Her acting stole the movie, in my opinion. It was probably the most well-acted character. However, Multiverse of Madness shares a similarity with Game of Thrones, and that is Daenerys and WandaVision were two good people that went through some shit, but stayed good. They kept fighting to do the right thing and whatever. They made mistakes, but fine. And then because the plot decided it needed it, they both just said, okay, no, fuck it, I'm going to murder everybody without thinking about it. And I get that the Darkhold was influencing her, but we did not see it. We should have seen a little bit of the Darkhold influencing her before this. An after credit scene or something.
Too big of a cop out.
Oh, the
Too big
captain
of a
jumped in.
cop-out.
It's way too big of a cop out.
The ending for her was just shitty. I didn't enjoy
that's
that.
not how they should have taken her off the board.
Right.
No.
I did appreciate that we finally got to see how powerful she is.
Yeah,
No.
I mean,
We've known
and
for a
she
while.
she
If
definitely
if
dominated.
people actually
like,
paid attention, she's been the strongest Avenger since
Yeah, 100%.
she's been around.
well, you
There he
didn't
is.
you didn't have to pay attention. They kept
This
saying
guy.
it.
We can see you, John.
Tag me in, boys. Tag me in.
Perfect
Tag
timing.
me in.
Perfect time. We just
Tag
started
me
talking about
in.
it.
Already.
Hold on, I'm getting the cameras all set up. So give me a second here.
Every time we've had Steve jump in and then fall back out because his internet crashed.
Hey man, train wreck.
Spent most of this podcast readjusting cameras.
At this point, if people don't see me readjust cameras live on air, then it's
Are
not
we actually on air?
It's not a theater room podcast.
I can.
Well, John, we can hear you. So we were all just going over our opinion
we
of
thought.
the movie.
Go ahead, John.
Our overall opinion of it, like your first
initial
impression.
thoughts and whatever.
Initial thoughts.
Impressions.
On Doctor Strange, I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously, like the rest of us here, we're nerds, right? We love Marvel, and we've made it very, very clear that we were going to live and die and fall on the sword with Marvel because DC has completely done us wrong. So with that being said, I think every single movie, I think all of us say the same thing to each other. We hope we're not overhyping this movie. We hope they're not going to do too much. We hope they give us what we need. And before I say it, that was our big worry. Wade, if you remember in No Way Home, we were very worried, and it hit a home run, right? So going into this, I'm speaking to Spartacris a little bit, and I'm like, man, 2 hours, I don't know. I call him on the way. I'm like, I'm optimistic, but cautiously optimistic, whatever. So I can tell you, I thought the movie was super rushed. I thought that I was very confused on who the main actor was supposed to be. Was it supposed to be Doctor Strange? Was it supposed to be Scarlet Witch? Was it supposed to be America? The actress they picked for America underwhelmed me greatly.
Really? Disagree with that one.
I mean, greatly. I thought that the facial expressions and some of the emotional topics of, she essentially she thought she killed her moms, but she didn't show. There was a lot there that made me feel as though it wasn't the right choice. I thought that we were waiting in anticipation for the Illuminati. I think we all knew we were getting it. To what degree, we didn't know. It was sick how they introduced it. We were like, wow, 3 minutes later, they're dead.
Yeah.
And then
Useless. Completely useless.
And I'm thinking here, and by the way, it was so unnecessary to kill them to show Scarlet Witch's power. We all know how strong she went toe-to-toe with Thanos.
Right.
We know how strong she is. If it wasn't for Thanos making it rain from bringing down the fire from his ship, essentially killing all of his own troops, Scarlet Witch would have killed him right then and there, even with, during that battle. So we don't need to see Scarlet Witch eliminate the Illuminati in 3 minutes for us to know that. That's another one.
Well, can we also, real quick, hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can we just talk about how she eliminates the Illuminati? So, spoiler alert for if you didn't watch the movie, she kills every single Illuminati member except for Carl or Mordo, whatever his name is. But, why would Reed Richards go, listen, Wanda, I'm just letting you know, Black Bolt here, fucking kill you. I'm just saying, fucking kill you. And then she's like, well, what mouth? And he's like,
First
what?
man in the universe, bro.
What smartest guy in the universe? He looks at Black Bolt like, what is she talking about? And then Black Bolt in his infinite genius is like, I can't talk. Maybe I should scream into my own fucking head, and kills himself. And then Reed Richards, again, can stretch all kinds of stuff. The slowest punch in the world. He's like, nah, let me just...
So, I gotta tell you.
Come on, man.
If you
Can I point out?
If you had to sum up the Illuminati, if you guys had to sum up the Illuminati based on what we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you sum up the Illuminati as?
They're a secret organization that makes decisions behind the scenes. Number one, so that's already my problem with them.
Sure. So essentially.
Traditionally,
Go ahead.
Traditionally, they have been a group of the smartest in the Marvel universe that would kind of police the multiverse.
Exactly.
Kind of their role in the comics.
Okay,
right? Like
Fred,
that's basically what they were there to do. No.
So all right, so Fred, if you had to also, would you just parlay off that essentially?
Yeah, well, they're there to police the multiverse and make sure nothing's falling apart and stop the quote unquote incursions.
Okay, so the Illuminati is, for me, the secret organization, the puppet masters. That's how I would say, right?
Yeah.
The ones pulling the strings behind the scenes. That was the secret entity we were waiting for. The best of the best. Captain Britain, Captain Marvel, Reed, Thunderbolt. You have all the best. You, Professor X, the strongest, mind in the universe. Okay, you're trying to tell me that of all of that, one was shredded apart like string cheese.
Yeah.
In literally
Spaghetti.
one sentence.
Well, just spaghetti.
One, like you said, eliminated Doctor Strange, an alternate version of Doctor Strange, just by whispering, right? Now he thought it was now, by the way, the puppet.
That is very accurate to what Black Bolt is. Like Black Bolt, if he screamed, would destroy the world.
Absolutely. What I'm saying is the smartest, strongest. He blew his own brain. I'm just saying it's a little odd how they bring. So that's why it really chapped my ass, Lloyd. So the other and then even to go back even in the initial where Strange, he's talking about what this could mean, the powers behind it, and he says, listen, the only thing this could be is witchcraft. And they're like, well, do you know anybody? He goes, I actually think I do. So he goes there, and within literally a 4-minute conversation walking with Wanda, the whole plot is uncovered in literally 4 minutes. And I'm like, there was no thought into this. There was no maybe like Doctor Strange went there, thought it can't be her, she's with us, and then he led her to America, whatever the case may be.
Right,
no,
and then a big twist.
She said, "Hey, bro, I wasn't in the
movie." He didn't know about the Darkhold, right? So, like, the events of WandaVision happened. He doesn't know that she's got the Darkhold, so he wouldn't be thinking in the terms of, like, he's still thinking that she's just like
exactly.
No, but John makes a good point though. The whole movie was about them trying to figure out what's causing these issues in the multiverse, and that's what the trailers all seemed. That's what all the plot points seemed. It was all about trying to figure out what's happening. And then when we go see the movie, literally within minutes, they're like, "Oh well, she's causing problems," and then that's it. Like,
and bro, from there, it was a DC microwave, right? This is
those are harsh words.
I wouldn't go that far.
No,
I wouldn't go that far.
What I mean by this is exactly why DC was never able to be successful. Thankfully enough for Doctor Strange 2, this follows 30 installments of successful Marvel movies that we love.
Right.
So we're like, okay, this is probably an outlier. We're getting it. Okay, whatever. But this was the one I thought failed. And we clearly, like, Spartacris, we talked about this, and I've been talking about other people, even Zuplex, we're the thing that they're trying to do now, in my opinion, is they're trying to expand it, and they're trying to like get you out of your comfort zone of phase 1, 2, and 3 Endgame, right? You're not going to see everything goes to Thanos at the end. They all come together. Now it's to show you how many different characters, how many different wrinkles they can do. And at some point, if you're not going to deliver on something of a total picture,
right?
And in the meantime, you're giving me this dog poop, right? I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't want to sit here and have you listened to what you're telling me while I have white dog poop in my stomach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need that. I don't want that sort of stuff, guys.
You heard it here first. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness equals white dog poop.
White dog poop.
I need, bro, like Eternals. super different, introducing something totally new, Celestials, and then the cutscenes were like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you saw Blade, you saw the Ebony Sword, you saw all of this. You're like, wow, dude, this is crazy. You saw Star Fox, you're getting all this stuff. You're like, dude, this is gonna open up a lot. Shang-Chi, probably the best Marvel movie ever, other than the ones with all of the characters combined. Because let's be serious, Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, we love them, right?
Yeah.
But Shang-Chi, dope. Like the fight scenes, oh, ridiculous. Right. Okay, great. The 10 rings with the, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. And then No Way Home, and you're like, all right, well, we're seeing some separate characters builds up. They're introducing some things. And then I get this dog crap on my doorstep. Somebody called the shit poop. I don't understand why they lit this on my doorstep. Like, why'd I get this from? Why'd I get this?
So I wouldn't go so far as to call it dog crap, but it was definitely a letdown. This is going to go down as the Thor of phase phase 5 or phase 4, I think. You know what I mean?
For me, like, John, you missed this, but I was saying that this was a really good Sam Raimi movie. Right? Because that's what it was. It wasn't an MCU movie.
But that brings up an interesting point,
This is Iron Man 3.
But that brings up an interesting point,
I'm not saying it's not a problem. I'm not saying it's not a problem.
A lot of complaints, but a lot of complaints for the first few phases of the MCU was that it was kind of cookie cutter, and a lot of the movies were the same over and over and over again. With Eternals, and now with this in particular, you can really see that Feige or someone who's in charge is trying to allow the directors to put their spin on the movie a lot more. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? We loved almost all of the old movies.
And it didn't work. Like, that's the problem. Like, Iron Man 3 is a perfect example. Like, Iron Man 3 is a really great Shane Black movie.
I love Iron Man 3.
Right? Shane Black, he directed it. It's a Shane Black movie from start to finish, right? But
it is. It definitely is.
In the overall MCU, it fails as part of, like, overall story. And I think that's what we got with Doctor Strange. I mean, there were some positives. I just didn't like how they made Wanda the antagonist, right? Which is fine, but, like, the whole reason for her being the antagonist made absolutely no sense when you take into account the end of WandaVision.
And that's my
problem. End of WandaVision, she hears her kids yelling out for her help.
Yeah, her kids are not saying, "Can you come murder my mother and take over?" Which is what she was trying to do in this movie.
So it made us think that she was going to go looking through the multiverse. Like, the better version of this movie is Wanda is going through the multiverse looking for her kids that need help, and Doctor Strange trying to stop her, and the Illuminati trying to stop her because she's screwing up the multiverse.
The Illuminati is trying to stop him from stopping her.
No, but what you're saying makes more sense. What if the story was that she's traveling the multiverse, Doctor Strange and America Chavez are trying to get to her before the Illuminati, because the Illuminati will murder her and they're trying to save her. You know what I mean? Like, that would make a lot more sense than what we got.
I'm sold.
100%. And can I ask the elephant in the room here, the white elephant in the room? I guess she doesn't give a shit about Vision anymore. I mean, in WandaVision, her whole thing was trying to revive her husband and have a family with him.
Yeah.
And in this one, she doesn't even mention him.
Listen, they're blaming everything on the Darkhold, bro.
Come on, listen, bro.
Darkhold got her.
Wait, real quick.
That's the answer.
Real quick, I got to get to some comments.
Vision in one of those, like, multiversal, like, Wandas.
It would have been cool to see Vision as part of the Illuminati. That would have been baller. If he was there in the Illuminati, that would have been a cool, like, kind of connection. But real quick, Buttersworth says, first off, America Chavez jumping borders was mad disrespectful to Spanish people. That's actually a very good point, a very funny joke. Larry Luck says she was savage when she took all the Illuminati out. She was, but it all didn't make a lot of sense. There's a lot of, how about Captain Marvel? How about Captain Marvel and Peggy Carter? I can't remember what her superhero name was. Just standing there while she's shredding Mr. Fantastic. They don't even try to stop her. This is like string cheese. Sorry,
they did the stereotypical one-on-one fights while everybody watches.
Buttersworth
we already know that Wanda is, like, the most powerful. We saw that with Thanos, like John was saying. I think they were trying to show us that she's now was brutal and savage.
She's like unlocked. No
like,
care in the
I
world.
I don't disagree, but I don't think they stuck the landing as well as they think they
I don't think
did.
they stuck the landing on it, but like I think that was what they were attempting to show us.
But Buttersworth also
I'm in the
says,
minority. I think Wanda, like I said, was the better part of the movie.
She was entertaining for sure,
the raw emotion you saw from her, you believe she was in pain, you believe she was mad.
100%.
There's no doubt about it. The problem is
her being like creepy in and out of the darkness, like it was. Like, she was doing crazy stuff.
The
it was awesome.
storyline they wrote for her was just bad. She did it great.
It didn't make a lot of sense.
100% agree.
Listen, she's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah,
She
I would
kills
agree with that.
There's no doubt. First of all, she makes you fall in love with her as Wanda, right? She makes you feel like when we found out much earlier on, she was like a scientific experiment, so to speak. And then you saw the scared version of her when she didn't really understand her powers, and Hawkeye was like, "You're either in this or you're not. Figure it out. I have a bow and arrow. You have powers, right?" And he went out and became an Avenger. And then she fell in love with Vision, and then it was taken away from her. And you followed that roller coaster, and every which way you really believed like this was her, you know. And we all know Scarlet Witch with the thought killed 95% of all mutants. Like we know what Scarlet Witch is, right? We understand what she is. It just, if you're gonna have longevity in films, unless they have no intention on having the Illuminati, they just wanted to make us say, "Oh, cool, they showed them," which would be very disappointing in my opinion.
Yeah.
If they had no intention, this is fine. If they have intentions on now in another movie, another multiverse, a different Illuminati of some sort, right, being there, then this was really dumb. So you have to have it one way or the other. And that's what we got with Marvel up until now. We got one way or the other. We never got a mixture. And by the way, to play off Johnny Butters, Johnny, I want you even to dive further down the rabbit hole. Is it more disrespectful that the Spanish, that the Mexican girl is jumping borders, or is it that there's a Mexican girl named America? I don't know, bro. All I'm saying is, either way, it's a mind. It's a, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the first thing. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's her name in the comics, dude. Her name is America Chavez.
But I'm just saying, like, bro.
But so Buttersworth, just speaking of Buttersworth, though, he asks another good question here. What he's trying to understand is how Wanda destroyed Professor X like it was nothing. Ain't Professor X the strongest mind in the universe? This is probably my biggest problem. My biggest problem with all the deaths that she did. There could have been a much better battle. I don't know how they could have done it. They could have gotten more creative. What they did for Professor X and her killing him, I thought was just such a letdown, such garbage.
I'm the exact opposite of you.
Oh, it was so. But why though?
Here's my thing.
Like he didn't know that she was trying to trick him. This Professor X.
First off, they finally showed us Professor X on the astral plane.
Okay.
Which is the first time they looked. We went through 19 fucking X-Men movies. They never showed us Professor X on the astral plane. Right.
Right.
So this is the first time we got to see that. I don't know where everybody keeps getting this information that Professor X is like the strongest telepath in the Marvel universe. He's not even like top 10.
Yeah, but he's definitely stronger than just being fooled real quick. All she did was trick him.
He's not stronger than Wanda.
Wait a second. Telepath? You're telling me telepath? Professor X is not amongst the top. Now, obviously behind Jean Grey, a.k.a. Phoenix, right? But you're trying to tell me that, furthermore, Professor X put up a fight for the ages against Apocalypse. We got a 60-second, not even fight against. Yeah. He didn't even attempt. He saw Wanda stuck in a rabbit hole and said, "I think you need to get out." Oh, I'm dead.
And then just forgot that there was an evil Wanda around.
It was more impressive.
He's always been stronger than Professor X.
It was more
but there could have been more of a
Wanda trapped the variant Wanda in the origin of basically where she was destroyed. Like her apartment was destroyed where her parents were.
Right.
You know, like that was the rubble that variant Wanda was stuck in, and Scarlet Witch did that with her mind. So that was
I just
dope.
feel like they showed us Professor X. You know, he started using
Professor
his powers.
X was a letdown,
but he started.
Other than being there was cool.
But
what
he
did.
But the only
7 years old.
That doesn't matter, dude.
What you want him doing? Backflips in the astral
The
plane?
the coolest thing he did, was use his powers, and you see the mind rays or whatever coming out of his head. That was an awesome little Easter egg. But after that, it was nothing. It was garbage.
The golden wheelchair, right?
Yep.
Anybody else find it super weird that it was up to his nipples
No.
instead of like at his waist?
No,
I didn't notice.
Look, wait.
Golden wheelchair.
To piggyback off Scythe, though, 100%, my problem, and even to piggyback off John here, the Illuminati was such a major Easter egg, I guess you could say. That's all it was. It was an Easter egg. They gave us arguably one of the strongest groups in the comics, and this was Marvel's way of being like, look, we know what you guys want. Here's the Illuminati. Here's John Krasinski as Reed Richards. Here's Professor X from the animated movies. All right, you guys happy? Now we just killed them all. Let's move on and let's not talk about this anymore. That's what it felt like to me.
You guys might disagree with me. Let me make this point. My 2 points before you guys jump on me.
Yeah.
One thing is Reed Richards the one that created the Ultron bots in this version of the Illuminati?
That's what it looks
because
like. Yeah.
We didn't have Superior Iron Man or whatever.
Well, Vision wasn't created.
We may have had Superior Iron Man, we just didn't see him.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there.
He just might not have been part of the Illuminati.
I guess. But why would he be?
Or he also sacrificed himself for Thanos.
I'm so mad that Tom Cruise was not in this film.
I'm happy.
Yeah, apparently it was because of availability.
Yeah, he couldn't be there.
I'm so mad, bro.
I'll tell you something. Yeah. If you guys had gotten every rumor mill that they had put out against us, we'd all be
we would have had a different conversation. We would have all been happy.
But Zuplex though, if we got all those cameos in a terrible movie like this, just those cameos alone would have made us walk out being like, yo, that movie was great. But instead, we got one cameo that was a surprise. John Krasinski is Fantastic Four as Reed Richards. That's the only cameo we got.
Well, it was a surprise. I didn't think they'd ever go back to Black Bolt.
Well,
as bad as that Inhuman show was.
What's up, John?
It was the same dude.
I'm gonna I'm gonna tip my hat here to Zuplex. Just like he can anoint himself the aficionado of something. As I am here, the aficionado of the Illuminati. Thanks, okay? No one else said that but me. Like
he's got a PhD in Illuminati.
I have a PhD in Illuminati, like you have one in Batman. Okay,
fucking Batman.
I'm gonna let you know right now that if that's all I got with the Illuminati, Marvel can kiss my you-know-what, bro. I'm out, dog. I don't care what else is good. You could tell me Secret Wars. You can, bro. I don't care. I'm out. Because that's BS, dude.
But see, now this is my problem, though. This movie was basically a 2-hour setup for an Easter egg for Secret Wars. They could what they should have done, honestly, is taken that mid-credit scene with Charlize Theron telling Doctor Strange there's a incursion happening, put it as the end credit scene of Spider-Man No Way Home, and you didn't even need this movie. This movie could have just been gone, and it would have been just as fine. He was messing with the dimensions in that movie. So
was solely there to take Wanda off the board.
Yeah,
not kill her, but take her off the board.
Right.
For at least some sort of time.
Right.
Introduce America Chavez.
That's literally the only reason.
This movie should have taken Doctor Strange off the board because.
By the way, I'm so happy. Then this is what I got essentially. Okay, no, this is great. So just tell me if I'm wrong. So this is what I got. I got no Scarlet Witch. And now I have America Chavez. Wow.
Right.
I got an awesome fight scene with musical notes.
Yeah. We didn't even get to that part yet.
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about.
I have no Illuminati now.
Well, Mordo is still alive, so I guess he could start a new Illuminati.
What a useless character he was.
Never mind.
Everyone's getting murdered, and he's like, I'm gonna wait for my vote. I'm gonna wait for my vote.
Thing too is like there is a direction that they can go in, right? Where instead of there's no Illuminati in that universe. The one thing another thing that this movie did do for us, it did confirm that MCU that we've been watching is the main timeline.
Right.
is 616. So that is the main Marvel timeline. It's always been the main Marvel timeline.
Can I ask a question?
There's nothing saying that Doctor Strange doesn't come out and say, listen, in Doctor Strange 3, he's like, I fought an incursion. Now we have to create a new Illuminati for this dimension.
Yeah, but Doctor Strange 3 is not going to happen for another 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not even announced.
I think everybody has to get used to it.
It's going to be the movie before Secret Wars, most likely.
We need to remember what it was like when the Marvel Cinematic Universe first started.
Yeah, I was happy.
And we were getting...
hey, come on. We're still happy.
We were getting...
still happy.
Iron Man 2 wasn't great.
Dude, I'm sorry. Dude, I really am. I got to apologize ahead of time. I don't know if it's just me as a human, quite possibly. Every time you give me your opinion, I think of emo Batman. I can't take you serious, bro. I can't.
Oh my God,
every opinion you tell me, bro, I want to beat you with a baseball bat.
All I need you to do, I'm going to give you a reading list of actual Batman books to go and read this week and learn about it.
All right, hold on. Wait. Let me ask you this question. Forget Batman for a second. Let me ask you this question. We watched Wanda use her powers to beat however many sorcerers at Kamartaj, right? She walked through fucking mirrors and reflections to get to Doctor Strange. Then we watched her manhandle the entire Illuminati like it was a joke, not even close, right? A little bit of blood on her forehead, that was it. And then she gets beat by America Chavez because she punches her. Is anyone else okay with that? That's
nope.
She watched her look at her fist in slow motion and go.
The ending of that movie was dog shit.
It was not a happy.
It was just not. Oh God! It just wasn't. It's just so. Guys, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, this is so disappointing.
You have to understand. As I'm reading through comic book 6, page 7. Okay. Extreme Battles of the Multiverse, Scarlet Witch version. In the first appearance of America Chavez, apparently, she kills everyone and gets punched in the face by a
okay, so there's precedent.
Yeah.
Hold on, but let me get back to
let me ask my question.
Oh, go ahead, Side. Sorry, I interrupted you before.
So I'm probably in the minority. Did John Krasinski impress you as Reed Richards? Because now that I actually seen him, I could care less if he's Reed Richards moving forward.
My answer is he did not. However, there was nothing there that for him to impress us with. He didn't do anything. So he's still.
I'd like to see him in a full movie.
Right. He still is probably the best choice for it, and I think Emily Blunt is a great choice for Sue Storm. So if they can get two of them, great
choice for fan fiction. Right. But actually seeing him, I was just kind of like, if he's not Mr. Fantastic, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but I'm not one of these people who thinks he has to be Mr. Fantastic.
I get that, but I'm just saying, what I mean?
Real quick, Larry Luck does make two good points though. One of them was that this was the most graphically violent MCU movie we've seen,
by far.
Which I agree with. I mean, I'm surprised that they got away with some of the things they got away with. And the other thing he points out,
it could have been a rated R movie.
I think it could have. Yeah. The other thing he points out, though,
a little bit more,
and the other thing he points out, and this is something that I'm a little fearful now after Doctor Strange 2, is this is only one universe. He says all the characters can be brought over from another universe. That is a fair point. However, does that mean that the multiverse, as far as the MCU is concerned, is just a way for them to show us killing off these characters that we love and being like, but wait, they're not really dead because it's just from another universe. If they start going that route, every movie we have this surprise death, but it's like, no, but it's not really the person you wanted it to be, then it's going to quickly ruin the entire MCU. And they have to be careful with that.
MCU, there's no way possible, in my opinion, and I'll always watch them. I love them. The 14-year masterpiece they put together earned my respect forever. The fact is let's all be serious here. After Endgame, what did you expect? There's nothing else, bro. So, I'm being serious. We want Marvel. We love Marvel, so we're going to continue to watch them, right? This is what we do. The Nerd Squad comes together, and here we are, right? And it's what we love, and we're going to go to every Chris, you know, we're going to show up at every single movie the day before the premiere, and we're going to be sitting there. We're going to get I'm going to buy the ticket. You're going to buy the popcorn. Same thing, bro. This is what we do. Okay?
Especially as ticket prices rise, the popcorn is going to end up being cheaper. So I'm going to keep buying the popcorn for us.
Yeah, by the way, I have to say, I actually was super pissed. I spent $40. He spent like 12 on me.
No.
He made out like a bandit. But like you're just not gonna get that last scene with Captain America, a broken shield, and him in his ear. You're not gonna get that moment that everyone goes,
yeah, well, see,
oh my God.
I think we will.
This is the point I was getting to.
It's just going to take a long time. I think we will. They got to build to it.
John, before you jumped on, I was saying kind of similar along the same lines. The point I was trying to get to was that what they've shown us so far in Phase 4, and like the heroes that we have that are on the board right now, like if an Avengers level threat came right now, you can't tell. No one can tell me that this is the group of heroes that's going to defeat anything.
Right, but to kind of counter that though, when you say Avengers level threat, we have enough people right now, enough heroes, I should say, that could fight a Loki and an army and a Chitauri army. We don't have somebody who could fight a Thanos level army.
Oh, we do, man.
But we got to build up. Well, I should say we have them because between the Eternals and like we definitely have enough characters for it.
The Eternals are just going to be like, no, not our problem.
But the Chitauri was held back by 5 people, and 2 of them didn't have superpowers. It was the Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, and then Hawkeye and Black Widow.
And
6 people. Sorry, 6 people. You're right.
To be fair, or you know, there's a difference, right? So like if Doctor Doom shows up, who's fighting him?
Well, Fantastic Four.
I'm saying.
What?
Fantastic Four.
We would need a Fantastic.
Not Reed Richards because he got shredded.
Yeah.
He got torn to pieces.
Yeah.
And his head exploded.
Spider-Man.
His head popped like a little
Universe,
pimple.
bro.
My
Multiverse.
point,
Universe.
that's exactly what Zuplex is saying. That's
think of what you have though.
That's why what they did killed it, because if you meet all of a sudden your threat, your biggest threat pops up, right? Another threat. Oh, by the way, what if another Thanos from another multiverse pops up?
You have it.
No Iron Man.
You handle it easily. You got Captain Marvel still. You got all your Hawkeyes. You have your Loki. I guess you wouldn't count, but you have your White Vision, who apparently is a good guy still. He's around out there somewhere.
Well, whose side he's on? He might be a villain.
Yeah, but it's fine. You have Shang-Chi. You have Ant-Man.
You have no Wanda.
You have Doctor Strange and Wong. I mean, that's just the 2 of them right there could help you out. You have Spider-Man still technically. I mean, they're there.
That is a severely weak team, my friend.
Yeah. No, by the way, you just named me the bench players of the.
Oh, Spider-Man's a bench player. He went to space, bro. Bitch, he went to space.
Spider-Man's not a bench player, but like
Doctor Strange and Wong are bench players.
Now let me ask you a question though. Changing the subject slightly. I think end credit scene.
No, mid credit scene, because the end credit scene was one of the worst end credit scenes.
No.
It was worse than Shawarma.
The end credit scene that we got was bogus, right? How much better would it have been if you had
a Thor trailer?
No. Pan up from the desk. You guys are talking about a business deal, right? About a property deal.
Uh-huh.
It pans up, and it's John Krasinski, Reed Richards in our universe buying Avengers Tower for the Baxter Building.
That would have been fantastic. It would have been a lot better. A lot better than what we got.
It would have showed a direction more where we're going.
Nothing that they did in this movie gave us any direction whatsoever as to where anything is heading.
Well, the incursion.
They something that's going to happen 10 years from now. That's all they did.
That's basically what they did.
Tell me you weren't furious. You waited for those post-credit scenes.
Yeah,
I actually said out loud, and there was the person sitting next to us started laughing. I said, I waited for that shit. Like, bro, you're telling me I just sat here. It's late as hell, and Chris and I are sitting there. And we're like, but don't worry, bro. The movie wasn't good, but the post-credit scenes they're gonna be dope.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, First one comes and we're like, okay,
Right. That like,
right.
like Scythe said, the first one hinted at something that's going to happen maybe 10 years from now.
I'm gonna guess that neither one of you guys understood that was Clea.
Well, I didn't know who it was, but clearly the incursion leads to Secret Wars. So I mean,
and that was the dark Dormammu world that she was coming
so
from.
I knew. Listen, I didn't have to know because let's be serious, bro. When they introduce any character, unless it's something that looks exactly like the character, most of the time we're not going to really know it until we do a little bit of research for like, okay, cool, right? Like that, because that's how we left with the Eternals.
Eternals, yeah. Harry Styles, I didn't know who that was.
We thought there was we
I knew
thought
that was Star Fox right away. You know that was Star Fox? It's the same costume.
Yeah, but you read the comic issue for came out 1976, issue number 33.
I have it here, by the way. I have it here. Yeah, this was done by my 2-year-old, but this is edition 4. On page 7, it tells me Carmine, shut the F up. So no, it's like the thing is,
and the Turtles. I went, it's Pip the Troll. I yelled it out in the fucking into the theater.
I would have smacked you, by the way, if you actually did. But I'd have been like, you'd have been like, oh my God. I'd be like, shut up.
You would have been like, I've been waiting to see him on the screen since issue number 16.
Can't wait. He's like, I have his t-shirt. Look. But it's, no.
To go off your point, John, I was in the theater. I was the guy going, because you know how, like, you go to a Marvel movie, there's always the people that leave before the end credits, and you're like, this has been going on for 15 years. How do you know not to stay?
Yeah.
So I'm like, where is this guy going? He's the idiot. And then after the end credits, I'm like, I'm the fucking idiot because I watched those 2 credits.
You literally chased him down, shook his hand, and said, "In my head, I called you an idiot. You're not. You're a genius. Have a good night."
Yep, pretty much.
Nah, I mean, by the way, Zuplex, when you come back, can you bring one of those special edition comics? Thanks.
He's probably going to get one right now.
Yeah.
The problem is the end credit scene doesn't always have to be some like major moment or like that. It's fine if it's a joke, but that was a
Thor trailer.
But that was a stupid joke to end the movie on. They could have shown us anything else to make it funny.
It was like an Easter egg to a completely different like Sam Raimi thing, I think.
Well, but like don't forget, Guardians of the Galaxy had Howard the Duck at the end of those
every
movies.
single one of Sam Raimi's movies.
Right.
Like, that's been a long Sam Raimi thing. Includes Bruce Campbell in all of his movies. Bruce Campbell loaned him the money for Evil Dead.
Bruce Campbell also punches himself in the movie, and that was his Easter egg.
Like, that was a whole shtick. He got into a fight with his own hand.
I would have loved.
That was the whole shtick.
I would have loved if all of a sudden he took out a chainsaw and just
that would have been cool.
Army of Darkness moment. I would have loved it. But I'm telling you right now, and I hope you guys agree with me. If they don't hit a home run on this next Thor movie, we're in trouble. Like, because the most recent Thor with Ragnarok was awesome.
Yeah.
And if they don't rebound with a very good Thor movie and then followed up by the Guardians of the Galaxy, which also had 2 volumes that were amazing, we're in big trouble, man, because right now I don't know the direction we're going in, but I can easily tell you that it's not a path that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy watching, like, and going, so
they just wrapped Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and that was like everyone was giving their swan song. You know what I mean? Like, they were done.
Well, I think that's a big part of the problem, though, is that all the old characters that were in the first 3 phases now are getting these endings to their stories. So that's why I feel like phase 4 and 5 is really more about introducing a couple of new characters, ending some of the old characters, and passing the mantle off to someone else. And I don't think we're going to start getting a clear direction until phase 6. I think phase 6 is when everything will start moving towards one moment, which I think is going to be Secret Wars. But we're not going to get that until the end of phase 6, end of phase 7 probably. And you're talking, 2023, 2024 at the very least?
We're going to be dealing with
2030. At that point.
Well, I mean,
we're going to be dealing with multiversal madness. Multiversal madness we're going to be dealing with until Secret Wars, probably.
But I mean, I'm already starting to feel like all this multiverse stuff is starting to peak. And that's not a good
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? Like they've only really tapped into the multiverse in
I
3
kind of wish
things.
they ended it after this movie. I don't want the multiverse shit going on anymore.
Well,
It's too
be
much.
honest with you.
maybe they'll end it
It's
after
too much.
Ant-Man 3.
Too much. I agree.
You know.
It's too much. They're
Yeah.
trying to do too much
Right.
because at this point they're trying to show you how far their scope is,
Right.
as if we have to fall in love with them. Like, guys, we know what you could do. You don't have to, you know.
They're forcing characters we don't want on us.
Yeah,
Right.
I know it's bro. I'm telling you,
You know,
if I never got America Chavez, I'd be happier.
Right. I
I
mean, who knows what
promise
role
you,
she's gonna play, but
It was
you know.
forced. I felt like, what the hell am I watching right now?
what I'll say about the America Chavez thing is, like, you have to know that she's going to come eventually, because every other Phase 4 property, including the shows, they've introduced some sort of piece to the new Avengers.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? So you got your Kate Bishop, you got your Wiccan and your Speed, Wanda's kids, even though, like, we don't know if they're around anymore or not.
They were
No.
fake.
Yeah.
They were fake. You know, you got your Patriot boy in Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Isaiah Bradley's grandson, he's Patriot boy.
Right.
You got Ant-Man's daughter, she's Stature. So you had to know that America Chavez was coming at some point. Like, you kind of have to introduce her at some point.
I'm fine.
Because-
I'm fine. I agree. I'm fine with that. And by the way, it's a great point on how many you brought up and in the manner that they did it. Bro, I couldn't agree more. And you're right. We had to understand and see that it was coming, right? It just, the fact of the matter is they're trying. This is what I feel is what happened. We got Loki, and Loki blew us away.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, wow. And then what they did was, oh my God, look at what everyone's writing. They want more. How much more can we give them? And then they went too far. And with Loki, it was so, you were like, oh, wow, dude, this is nuts. And when we were introduced to Kang, right? Obviously, whatever version of him, you know, he is the good one or whatever, you know, and he was explaining everything. We were like, this is pretty cool, man. Like, the whole dynamic of this is really cool. And then they were like, okay, I have an idea. How do we mess this up? So I felt it was, they were going in a great direction. The Eternals introduced us to all the Celestials. It introduced us, you know, really just to how long they've been around for, some of the older artifacts, the 10 rings, things like that, just the power they have behind them. And then, like I said, we got we got Shang-Chi. I felt like that was the new Iron Man, in my opinion.
I agree.
You know, how intelligent he was, how much money his family has, how much, you know, how he wants to bring people together, whatever. And we have Spider-Man still. Great. But then after that, it's like, guys, either
Meanwhile, nobody knows who he is at this point.
no one knows who he's, but what I want to say is either stop what you're doing there and then bring us in X-Men, because without X-Men we have nothing going forward. Bring in Fantastic Four. Without Fantastic Four we have nothing going forward. You're going to need a new Wolverine. You're going to need this, right? So, like, we don't need, like you said, Zuplex, you said it perfect. There's shit we don't need, bro.
Right.
Don't give us the stuff we don't need. Give us the stuff that all of us now will say, let's go. Like, we're in for this phase now, right?
Right.
Well, give us an idea of where this is all heading. Like,
Well,
the best thing the original Phase 1 did, right, was at the end of every movie, got a little, like, the end credit scenes were so important to those movies because it gave us an idea of where everything was heading. That's why when you got Thanos finally showing up in the end credit scene, you were like, oh shit, Avengers are going to have to come together to fight Thanos. Now what we're getting is a bunch of different strands going in very different directions that we don't know where this is all leading to.
right.
Yep.
End of Shang-Chi, he's sitting there talking with Bruce and Captain Marvel, and they're like, "Oh, welcome to the circus. Like, this is gonna be crazy. Your life's gonna change." And it's just like, well, what does that mean? Like, where did the rings come from? Like,
think about how different. We have three major things going on right now. There's the Celestials on one hand. That's like huge. How the fuck do we deal with that? There's the timelines with Loki on that side. And that's branching timelines. It's exploded now, apparently. All kinds of shit's happening. And then there's the multiverse. Three different, very different things.
The timelines in the multiverse are the same thing.
It's the same thing.
I don't think so. I think those are two different things.
The way Feige explained it is that whatever happened at the end of Loki is what caused the multiverse of madness.
Well, no, it caused his spell to go wrong in No Way Home. We don't know that it caused multiverse of madness. We don't know,
But
Can I ask you guys a question? I actually want to know something, because I think every movie and every character, I think it gives us an opportunity to dive deeper into the storylines of the characters to find out who they are, what they do. Unlike Zuplex, we don't actually spend countless hours reading comics, right? So we have to sort of hyperbole everything, and we'll read updates on certain things. And Kang the Conqueror was a big one for me because when I fell in love with Loki and the storyline, I wanted to know about the character and the understanding that I got in reading about him. And I spent a few days trying to learn as much as I could because I felt like that was the next thing we were going to get.
Right.
Kang the Conqueror, doesn't he, in different timelines, essentially kill all of our favorite characters collecting artifacts from them? Isn't that something like he's got Wolverine's mask, he's got Captain America's shield. He goes in every timeline he kills a superhero. So if the direction they're going in, and that's the way I thought they were going, to be perfectly frank, I actually said to myself, Kang the Conqueror is the next one.
Right.
Right? Like they're going to, maybe he's not the Thanos, okay? But Kang the Conqueror is the next one where they're traveling maybe through different multiverses to find him or stop him, because maybe he pops up, he introduces himself, maybe he kills off a character like we see what's happening now, and then he disappears again, and now maybe the Illuminati is trying to find Kang the Conqueror to stop him from doing what they know he's doing.
Well, they were
traveling and killing, right? But now I don't even know the direction they're going in. Is Kang even a thing anymore, or do we have to wait for Ant and Wasp? Ant-Man and Wasp.
You gotta wait for Ant-Man.
I still think by Ant-Man 3, Kang won't be an issue. I really think that they're going to end it in Ant-Man 3 and then almost like eliminate one of the major things happening and focus on two of them. And it's almost
it can't end though, right? It can't.
It depends on when season 2. It depends on when season 2 of Loki's coming. If it's coming after Ant-Man, Kang is not dead in Ant-Man.
Well, Loki season 2 is starting to film in only a few months. They're starting to film season 2.
Loki 2 is going to come before Ant-Man.
If it comes before, then sure, maybe it'll end in Ant-Man.
I'm telling you, I think it's going to end in Ant-Man.
I think Ant-Man is dead in the Ant-Man Quantum. I think they're going to kill Scott Lang.
Oh yeah, his daughter's going to take over.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Even if he doesn't die, I think by the end of that one, Paul Rudd is no longer a part of it, and the daughter basically is going to take over as the Ant-Man person or Stature, I think they call it.
To go back to John's point of them doing too much, giving us too much, going the extra. What's annoying about that is what we got in this movie of them going too much still wasn't enough in a strange way. I still feel like they could have done so much more with this quote unquote multiverse of madness.
This is one of the few.
It was like a scaled back version. Like even when they're jumping through the different multiverses, it was like you were watching somebody flip a page book of animations. You know what I mean? Like you hold your thumb and you see the animation go as each page goes by. Like
this was honestly
see the multiverse. Like it was just a blink and we're in New York in 30 years from now.
Yeah, but
like,
it was
just strange.
That was made for streaming and for DVD owners, so you can pause it and look at everything. But I think that
was stupid.
This is one of the few MCU movies where it could have used a longer runtime. They cut it to 2 hours, and because of that, it was rushed. They could have added a half hour easy to this movie, and it wouldn't have felt like it was going too far. We would have been eating
I felt it was dragging in the middle at some points, though.
It was dragging because they weren't giving us anything. If they actually gave us, if they gave us what, I'll say what I guess we all expected, the movie needed to be a little bit longer. But if this was their final product of what we got, clearly it was, they could have trimmed some of that crap out.
Larry,
it just felt at some point we were dragging.
Larry Luck says, to the whole argument of too much going on, Marvel has earned the right for us to trust them, so let's trust the process. He's not wrong.
All we could do.
He's not wrong.
All we could do though is go one movie at a time and just dissect of what they're doing.
Larry Luck, slow down, okay? And I know that I'm not even gonna say I'm gonna say green light, because in New York City, green means stop in the future, right? Which pretty is on point.
Right.
That was a different dimension, not the future.
Different dimension. Pay attention, John.
But hold on a second here. Slow down. The last thing I ever heard about trust the process looks like dog crap now, okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not trusting any process. The process that I see in front of my eyes is a dumpster fire, okay? It's a 911 dumpster fire. Currently, we're headed down a dark path, and I don't like it, bro. I'm telling you, in 10 more years, if I got a few more movies like this, I'm going to be talking about wanting Robert Pattinson back in the MCU. I mean, bro, that's how bad things are getting here. That's how bad things are getting.
I will say,
great actor. He did amazing in Batman.
I will say, hold on. I will say, just to be on Larry Luck's side a little bit here, I do think that Marvel, so Feige, they're already planning out 10 more years of these movies. So everything we're getting now, we're expecting these payoffs to happen in the next year or two, or the next couple of movies. But I really think they're going to happen. It's like breadcrumbs, and we're not going to really get the payoffs until 2030.
Where I was going to with it earlier was that, like, going back to like the beginning of Phase 1, like we all have to get ready for a long process here.
Right.
Them bringing us.
Phase 1 was short though.
But here's the difference though.
We had like 4 or 5 movies and we were in the Avengers.
No, but here's the difference though. Phase 1, when Iron Man 1 first came out and they gave us that tiny little scene at the end with Nick Fury, nobody expected anything like the first Avengers to happen. That was 6 characters and a couple of side characters. They built that up to Avengers Endgame over 10 years. Now I feel like we're going to get 10 years of setup for whatever the next Avengers is going to be.
Right.
So it's like, so it is going to be a long process, and we unfortunately have to trust the process. Hey, we got a first time.
It's going to get bored of the process.
Well, that's the fear, right? Especially if we got Disney Plus shows that are not really hitting the mark. And MCU.
You gotta remember, like, what I was going back to with Phase 1 thing is that, like, we had to sit through some pretty bad movies in Phase 1.
Hey, we banned our first time viewer.
Yep, I got it. I took care of it. That was me, guys. Don't worry. I'm policing.
That means we're making it. We're getting somewhere. Somebody they were just trying to
somebody spamming
spamming shit. They were just like some bot or whatever trying to get our information.
We had to sit through some pretty, like, we had to sit through Iron Man 2, like we had to sit through Thor the Dark World.
What's going on, John?
Dude, we had a troll in the room and you didn't let
No. It wasn't a troll. It was a bot. It was a
bot.
Yeah.
It was a bot thing.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, you gotta unleash the hounds if somebody comes in there.
No,
bro.
if a person actually talks and they're being trolly, forget it. We're going after them.
I welcome trolls,
We're
man.
going after them.
That's how if we get trolls live in our chat, that means we've made it, and I'm looking forward to it. So
I love that.
That won't stop. But, all right, Zuplex, go ahead. Sorry.
So, to sit through some, like, pretty lackluster movies, you know, between Phases 1 and 2, you know. We had to sit through Thor the Dark World. We had to sit through Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3. Like,
you know what the difference is, though? We had a
mind-blowing movies at the time. Like,
we had light at the end of those tunnels. We knew where we were heading.
That's the difference, though. That's what I'm saying.
No fucking idea what we're doing now. We're just out there.
The MCU does feel very disjointed.
We knew that those were at least leading to something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we have no idea what anything's leading to, so we're just like
nothing.
this is what you're going to give us, and you're not at least telling us where it's leading to. You got to give us an idea of where this is leading to be like, okay, listen, Doctor Strange wasn't what we thought it was going to be, but it was a decent movie, but it's leading to this, and I can't wait for this to happen, blah, 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 blah.
If there's
we needed to do Doctor Strange 2 to lead up to this, you know?
If there's two takeaways from Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, two important things we have to remember. Number one is that Secret Wars is basically definitely happening. We just don't know when.
Yeah.
And number two is Marvel should
music
never
notes around you at all times.
You beat me to it. I was going to say Marvel should never do a musical magic fight in the history of the MCU again. That was the dumbest
shit fight scene that was.
What I don't understand
was god awful.
Is Thanos and Doctor Strange went head to head in Infinity War, and it gave us some of the coolest visuals as far as like magic's concerned.
Bro,
in a battle
when he splits into like a million Doctor Stranges.
But all of it though, he shoots those orangey reddish bands at him. You know, fucking Thanos punches the mirror dimension and shatters it, then turns it into what, fire or smoke or whatever. Doctor Strange turns into green butterflies and then splits into hundreds of people. Like, it was such a cool, just seeing Thanos even like kind of pull Doctor Strange towards him by manipulating the world around him. Like, such a cool scene. And then we have Doctor Strange versus Dark Doctor Strange. And what they give us is Doctor Strange looks at a sheet of music and goes, "Oh, that's kind of a cool idea. Let's rip off Scott Pilgrim."
They gave us Fantasia. They gave us literally Disney Fantasia.
Like, you couldn't come up with a better fight than that. Like, that was pretty dumb.
I'm sorry. Are we still talking about this movie? I fell asleep. I'm back in now. You guys we're still talking about this dog shit? Oh. All right. I'm sorry. I was reading my comic. Which comic is this? Are we on?
Oh, it's issue 16.
Musical version 117.
I'm telling you, I'm going to give you a reading list. I'm going to give you a reading list.
Oh, very good. Yeah, that's good. Toilet paper is scarce. I'll use it.
I will say,
supply chain.
Just we've been shitting on the movie the whole time, but we got to talk about some of the things we liked. I liked the visuals. The whole movie was pretty good, beginning to end. Everything looked pretty nice. I especially like Doctor Strange ripping the eyeball out of the Gargantos or whatever it is. Like,
hold on, Larry says you are crazy. That fight scene was amazing. By
Braden. Well, you know, the kids may love it, I guess. But tell Braden to watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and he'll get a better musical fight.
This is how Larry sneaks in there. You want to know why? Because he's using his adorable son as a shield. That is what I'm talking about, bro. You see, that's very 2022.
But at the end of the day, I do see that that fight scene appealing to kids.
Of course, yeah.
Of course it is.
That was our point.
It's vibrant. It's fun. Okay, cool.
It's weird. Like, they're using musical notes.
They kind of
musical notes are playing. Blah blah.
If you think about it, though,
let's spaghetti everyone, snap necks, cut people in half, and then throw notes at each other.
No, but that's
what are we doing?
No, but Scythe, that's what I was gonna say. They had to do that kind of fight because first they rip off a giant eyeball and they don't cut away. You see all the tentacles and shit come out of that Shumagorath. They blow up Reed Richards' head. They melt Black Bolt's brain. They cut Captain Carter in half. Then we get Zombie Strange fighting Wanda. Like, they gave us a lot of dark stuff, so they were kind of like, let's ease up a little bit on the kids. They snapped Professor X's neck in brutal fashion.
It was Beethoven versus Mozart. It was like, what was I watching, man?
That
was terrible.
They had to give the kids something. You know what I mean?
It was bad. It was. The takeaway for me. I think the visuals also great as always, right?
Yeah,
I thought that. I think that I was just happy we got to see the Illuminati in it. I've been, it was something that, I mean, Chris, we were in the theater, everyone went nuts.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like,
I was tapping John on the arm, going like, "Here it is, here it is, here it is." You know.
Can we talk about real quick when Professor X shows up and you hear?
Yeah, dude, that was
amazing.
I was like, yes,
that was amazing. That was amazing.
It was definitely, it was cool. They were introducing person for person, and the theater went nuts. And you want those moments. And I also did love seeing Scarlet Witch's infinite power, right? So cool.
Right.
She was badass.
Outside, I said it the more I think about it, I gave the movie a 7 out of 10. I'll stick to the 7 out of 10. I'm not going to go lower. It's it's visually pleasing. It's aesthetically pleasing. It gives you a lot of different facets. It introduced the Illuminati. You got a little bit of that. You got a lot of action. So that's that. That was my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things was seeing, I guess, Zombie Strange get the soul cape when all the souls. We lose John.
Oh,
I'm here, boys.
Oh, okay.
He turned his camera off.
What was it? All the Soul Reaper or whatever that was that just was going after Doctor Strange for being alive or whatever, and then he ends up like, oh, I forget who said it was like, oh, you're a sorcerer, use them, and all of a sudden they became his cape, and he had all of them on him. That was so cool to me.
The visuals were nice overall. It had to be nice, right? It's an MCU movie, but I just think that I kind of agree with John. A 7 out of 10 is really probably a good score, and that's slow when you're talking about the MCU. So. Larry Luck says my favorite thing was the music fight. Signed, Larry Graham.
Oh my God.
Overall,
John, turn your camera back on. I don't like this. Turn your camera back on. I don't like this.
Off.
No. Listen, you guys. You gotta listen. You gotta hear me out here. First of all, just when I come back down to earth and I'm a dad, right? I want to help you. I want to help explain the dynamic here so everyone can understand the superhero.
All right, hold on. Let me zoom in on your face. Hold on. Go ahead. Now, talk directly to the camera.
So this is the superhero that I am. We are now sleep training a 6-month-old. This is the first night we put her in the same room as her sister. They're sleeping in the same room, right? So I have to check on the camera every now and then to see what's going on. Not only that, I have family here from California. I snuck away into my office, and the wife is asking me, what the hell are you actually doing in the office? So I'm doing a lot, but this is, by the way, this is my version of the multiverse, okay? And at the same time, I'm brushing up on my comics, dude. So give me a second, guys.
But if you need to go, you got to go. But you better leave that camera on. I swear to God, I'll give you.
I'm telling you, I'll get you a reading list, John. You can do it right on your phone. You can read them.
No, because I don't want the reading list, because then I'm gonna morph into you, and that means I'll like things like Robert Pattinson. I'm out, bro. I don't want your reading list, dude.
All right. I mean, it's been 2 hours now anyway, so we're gonna have to.
Let me give my wrap up.
Go ahead.
Everybody else gonna give their wrap up.
No, go ahead, Zuplex. You go.
Overall, I think, like I said at the beginning, it was a really good Sam Raimi movie. But for the MCU itself, like, it didn't move things along forward at all. Like, I did enjoy America Chavez. I liked her character. I thought the girl that they got to play her was pretty good. I mean, it's not really like a blow away character, It's not like an Iron Man coming on the screen, so it's not gonna,
She didn't have a ton to do, So she did. She did
exactly.
enough.
I will say now that they mentioned it in the movie, when you're dreaming, is it your multiverse dreaming? Is that really your other self walking? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so I saw something online too, which brought up a really good point. Is that when Tony, was talking about his dream of like having a kid, he had a dream where him and Pepper had a son, and this, that, and the other thing. That's just a different multiverse version of him now. So that's confirmed.
I have 2 questions for you, Zoot.
Yeah.
One is there a reason why Wanda, and this is because I didn't know, I don't know, is there a reason why Wanda didn't have a third eye with being so corrupted by the Darkhold?
It's because she's the Scarlet Witch.
She can just control it.
She's just that powerful.
Yeah, she's got a different because the Darkhold corrupted her, but because it's difficult, because that's more in the movies. That's not really like a comic thing, because she gets corrupted in the comics by by seeing like tragedies in her life, and that just kind of drives her crazy. Whereas like the Darkhold, I think the rules that they're going with on this are that because Doctor Strange is a wizard, she's a witch, Darkhold was kind of meant for her. Same thing as like Agatha didn't have it either when she was using the Darkhold.
Right.
She didn't have a third eye either. So I think that's got a lot to do with it.
Isn't the third eye though like a physical manifestation of the Eye of Agamotto? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to actually be more of a good thing, more of a positive overall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't get that.
Okay.
You didn't get that from the movie because he falls into the middle of the street, and starts screaming his head off.
Yeah, he's
But-
screaming, and then like a second
Okay,
later,
bro,
he's
why don't
okay
you
with
have a
it, and
third
it's
eye
like his
growing
best
in your
friend.
forehead? Why don't you have a third eye growing in
Well,
your
it's
forehead?
it's
I got
the-
plenty of space. I got plenty of space. I can get
the other
multiple
thing was
eyes up
that
in it.
the bad Doctor Strange that got corrupted from the Darkhold had the third eye also. So like
Right.
It was very confusing, definitely.
it was the
Yeah.
third eye thing was confusing. What was the other question?
The other question is, how did Mysterio get the multiverse right? He named 616, and
Yeah, he was right on the money.
838, and
And that
he
was
on
that
the
was
money.
a bit odd.
No, but honestly, Scythe, that's something like all these other little things where the writers didn't really think it through, and in a future movie, they're gonna just throw in one or two lines to just kind of somehow explain it
Yeah.
all. It's not.
Yeah.
That was definitely unplanned. I don't think they were doing Multiverse of Madness when Far From Home came out, and then Feige was like, "Well, wait a minute, that's a good idea. Let's do it." And everyone was like, "Yeah," but Mysterio said it. He was probably like, "Yeah, no one's gonna notice." And then the
Well,
Marvel
I do
fans are like,
that
"Whoa."
that they mentioned it in this movie, and they
Good night, Larry
confirmed that,
Luck.
like, our universe that we've been watching for the past 14 years is actually the 616. So
Right.
Yeah.
that's a good thing that they gave us, information wise. Overall, I'm giving it a 7.5.
All right.
I'm
Mostly
sticking to
because
my
like
7.
I actually kind of like Sam Raimi movies, so this was very Sam Raimi-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to stick to my 7. Like I said, I thought it was a good movie. It was an average movie. And I just left wanting more. I was disappointed when I walked out of there. But it doesn't take away of the fact that Wanda was a beast. She killed it. We saw some really cool things, and overall, it was a decent movie for Marvel.
Just one last comment from Buttersworth before we sign off, fellas. He says, "I'm surprised John didn't talk about his brown eye after watching the movie." I don't know what that means exactly, but I felt like it was a good way to just end it. Larry, we're always good sport. You and Braden are always allowed to welcome to come and watch us and make fun of us and laugh at us and watch me resize cameras the entire stream.
Guys, you gotta understand Johnny Butters, man. Listen, you know how some people in life they really just miss their calling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So Johnny Butters, he's the guy that wakes up and he's like, I'm gonna troll really hard today. Like you're either a good troll or you're not. He's not, but he thinks he is, so it's very tough. You gotta let him just go through the motions. I learned that. So all together now we all say as a group, when Johnny Butters says that, we all say, "Oh yeah, Johnny, you're right. Good one." Whatever.
All right, boys.
Whatever it is.
All right, boys. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark, so we're gonna have to end it because I don't like going over the 2 hours.
One more question.
Oh, Scythe, you're killing me. Go ahead.
Well, listen,
Hey,
have
hey, Steve, what'd you think? Sorry, I just had to throw that out there.
That was really good, Steve. Thanks, bud.
Hey, one shot. We'll see you sometime. Later.
Yeah. Later, guys. Thanks for jumping
Later.
in. Thanks for everyone in the chat. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. All the socials are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. We're active everywhere. Keep an eye out on Twitch for a lot of the gaming. And we'll see you guys. We'll go switch it back to Tuesday starting next week at 8:30. And we'll see you guys on the Theater Room episode 41. And Scythe's Multiversal podcast coming, I think, next weekend if I've got my timing down. And we'll see you guys later, man. Thank you so much. And GG, everybody.
GG. Yeah, he was itching to leave.